position to when your frontline players aren't playing, and you know Kevin Brown, this is his last game, wasn't it, at Wembley, and
in the cup final at Wembley.
Yeah, well, you lose a lot, I think, if you don't have a third half hooker option, and that's what Chris Atkin is. I think that really then you start to pull players out of position to when your frontline players aren't playing, and you know Kevin Brown, this is his last game, wasn't it, at Wembley, and
in the cup final at Wembley.
Yeah, well, you lose a lot, I think, if you don't have a third half hooker option, and that's what Chris Atkin is. I think that really then you start to pull players out of position to when your frontline players aren't playing, and you know Kevin Brown, this is his last game, wasn't it, at Wembley, and
in the cup final at Wembley.
Yeah, well, you lose a lot, I think, if you don't have a third half hooker option, and that's what Chris Atkin is. I think
in the cup final at Wembley.
Yeah, well, you lose a lot, I think, if you don't have a third half hooker option, and that's what Chris Atkin is. I think that really then you start to pull players out of position to when your frontline players aren't playing, and you know Kevin Brown, this is his last game, wasn't it, at Wembley, and
in the cup final at Wembley.
Yeah, well, you lose a lot, I think, if you don't have a third half hooker option, and that's what Chris Atkin is. Really then you start to pull players out of position to when your frontline players aren't playing, and you know Kevin Brown, this is his last game, wasn't it, at Wembley, and
in the cup final at Wembley.
Yeah, well, you Chris Atkin is.
In the cup final at Wembley.
Yeah, well, you lose a lot, I think, if you don't have a then you start to pull players out of position to when your frontline players aren't playing, and you know Kevin Brown, this is his last game, wasn't it, at Wembley, and
in the cup final at Wembley.
A third half hooker option, and that's what Chris Atkin is. I think
The cup final at Wembley.
Yeah, well, you lose a lot, I think,
seem to put to bed with 3 consecutive victories at the right time.
I think you always get
Headingley Stadium in Leeds. The League Leaders Shield is on offer. Wigan win, they will clinch the title for the first time since 2000.
Executive Chairman Robert Elston said the board accepts that the decision to reject Toronto Wolfpack's application will divide the game's fans, but on the evidence presented to us, it would not be right for the development of the competition for Super League to accommodate a team in Canada in 2021. As part of our comprehensive investigation into this whole subject, Super League appointed an independent committee of sports industry experts with representation from the RFL to examine commercial opportunities for rugby league in Canada. Chairman Robert Elston said the board accepts that the decision to reject Toronto Wolfpack's application will divide the game's fans, but on the evidence presented to us, it would not be right for the development of the competition for Super League to accommodate a team in Canada in 2021. As part of our comprehensive investigation into this whole subject, Super League appointed an independent committee of sports industry experts with representation from the RFL to examine commercial opportunities for rugby league in Canada.
Beer drinker? Let Flavourly handle it. Fription. Order now at flavourly.com/TV. Flavourly. Craft beer delivered.
Barclays app features help me manage my money and yeah, that kind of feeling. Get the Barclays app and make money work for you. I'm not confused.
Roald Dahl's The Witches, directed by Robert Zemeckis on Sky Store Premiere now.
Available now on demand.
We have all but disappeared. Demons, vampires, and witches. Hiding in plain sight.
Professor Claremont, you're a vampire.
You're a witch.
Just for the first time since 2012, it will if the Warriors can overcome Luke Robinson's Huddersfield Giants here at Emerald Headingley Stadium in Game 2 of our double-header. Let's have a look at the table to remind you what is at stake. Not just the League Leaders Shield. Wigan Warriors sitting on top. They'll clinch the Shield and first position with a victory. Should they falter and lose to the Huddersfield Giants, the Wigan Warriors will finish the season, in the regular season, in third, elevating St Helens into top spot, Warrington into second, and Wigan would then next week face Hull FC in the first round of the playoffs. Well, Phil Clark, for the first time in a long time, it feels like there is a huge amount at stake here in a Betfred Super League game. Not only do we have the League Leaders title but a somewhat easier route to this year's grand final in Hull awaits Wigan should they win here tonight.
Well, yeah, it's 8 years, as you've pointed out, since Wigan were crowned as
FC in the first round of the playoffs. Well, Phil Clark, for the first time in a long time, it feels like there is a huge amount at stake here in a Betfred Super League game. Not only do we have the league leader's title, but a somewhat easier route to this year's grand final in Hull awaits Wigan should they win here tonight.
Well, yeah, it's 8 years, as you've pointed out, since Wigan were crowned as the champions at the end of the season. The most consistent team.
Huddersfield Giants here, who pushed Warrington very close. In fact, earlier today on Sky Sports News, you tipped the Giants to upset the Wigan Warriors.
Because I can't believe that Wigan can play as well as they did. So much of it in St Helens, half of the field, was because Wigan was so aggressive in getting up and closing.
Halfback goes down, injured in the Wigan squad. Who is his deputy? Luke Robinson. Tonight, 2020, 17 years later, they go head-to-head. Let's hear from both of them, who a little while ago spoke to Jenna.
Adrian Lamb, a win tonight could see Wigan lift the league leaders' shield. What would it mean to you? What would it mean to your players?
Yeah, it's obviously very important towards the club, and just a reminder, I guess, an acknowledgement that it's been a tough year, but a reward for where we are at. And the squad's aware of the situation tonight, so we just want to maintain a good style of rugby that we have had over the last couple of weeks.
Tommy Liluai plays his 300th game tonight. What are you expecting from him?
Yeah, very proud of him for that, and again, a real popular member of the squad, and we'll play for him tonight, make sure we get the result that he deserves. He's a stalwart of the club and of rugby league throughout the whole world. He's had a bit of a laugh during the week about how many clubs he's played for, but he's had 2 goes here at Wigan, so we love him and we're proud of him, and I'm sure he's not finished yet.
I think the most frustrating thing for us is you can see the potential within the group, within the squad, and we have just narrowly just been missing out, and in the close contests we just haven't managed to get over the line, which is professional sport, but it's been very, very frustrating for us.
Jackson Hastings, another player who we're not sure where he'll be playing next year. How confident are you that it'll be at the Warriors?
Yeah, well, that's ongoing as well with Jackson, and he's been outstanding for us this year. I know he had a great year last year with the Man of Steel, but I personally think he's had a better year this year. The way that he's played, and I know that he's loving it here, his time here, and he's the next one on the radar, so hopefully we can sort that out pretty quickly.
Lee Gaskell doesn't play tonight due to that leg injury. If you do happen to step in, is he good to go for the playoffs?
We've got a few people like that. It's 50-50 at the moment. I only had 18 players to pick from this week. We are literally down to 18, but probably 3 or 4 of those have got a potential to turn around next week. So it could be we could have a sort of different looking squad next week. But for tonight, we've got a lot of young lads that I'm hopefully going to bring some youthful exuberance and some energy to the team, which I think we've been lacking a little bit. And I always think all the best teams and best squads always promote from within. And we've got a few lads, and in particular Ronan Michaels, who's making his debut tonight. He paid for his own, out of his own pocket, to come and get a trial at Huddersfield, and paid for his own digs, and so I'm really chuffed for him.
Well, best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, Irish international Ronan Michael, who hails from Balbriggan in Dublin, will be the first Irish-born player in a long time to make his Super League debut. Cogorgeous Ronan, I wish you all the very best tonight. Heard great things about him from
I thought
Andy
you
Kelly.
might have helped a little bit when he first came over, Ryan.
What could I teach him?
Financially.
Well, that's a fair point. I actually was to join the Canberra Raiders because of the COVID-19 outbreak. He was going to join Canberra for the rest of this year, and he's had to come back, but he gets a start now in Luke Robinson's side. It might not be the last game of the season for the Huddersfield Giants. Of course, they are on standby should any of the sides above them have to pull out of the playoffs, which you just never know what might happen. Let's talk about the Wigan Warriors. George Burgess we get to see tonight. Now this is a story that perhaps hasn't been told fully. This is one of their marquee signings at the start of the year. He's managed 6 matches in 2020. If he can last out on the field tonight, they're getting a very good player back at the right time of the season.
Well, I think when Wigan went for him, they were hoping that he'd be the Alex Walmsley of the Wigan Warriors. You know what, since August when we started to play again, he's been in 3 games and he's averaged just 18 minutes on the field. We haven't seen the devastating runs that we saw when he played down under in the NRL 5, 6, 7 years ago. And it's fascinating to see whether now at the crucial point he can rediscover that form and fitness. We haven't seen what he's provided, and this is a fascinating point here tonight, because at his best, he should be able to do what Alex Walmsley does, which is tilt the field in St Helens' favour. He hasn't done it yet for Wigan, and Wigan's forwards were remarkable last week without George Burgess, the big man. I mean, I read that he's reported to be 120 kilograms. Perhaps that may be too quick maybe it's too big for the speed of the game nowadays, but it'll be fascinating to keep a close eye on him when he gets on the field.
If you would struggle with that size, the one thing he'll have going in his favour is that he doesn't have to face a player like Bevan French. He'll have a Bevan French at his own side who has been absolutely sensational. And it seems to be getting better and better, Phil, as we go to the pointy end of the season.
Yes, again, but the question do come back to that Challenge Cup game when Leeds nullified the threat in the semi-final, obviously a few weeks ago. So he needs the rest of the team to play well, and then if they do, he stands out. I think that's typically what happens. I watched the Wigan St Helens game again back last week, and amazingly, when you look at Liam Farrell, you hardly notice he's invisible, but he made over 50 tackles, 20 runs. He was the only forward on the field to make over 100 metres. He was remarkable, and sometimes that work by the Wigan forwards gets unnoticed.
One of only 3 players in the Wigan 17 that lifted the League Leader Shield back in 2012. The others are Ben Flower and the man who will captain the Wigan Warriors tonight, Thomas Luloy, and also will make his 300th Wigan appearance. Well, such experience is very welcome, I'm sure, for Adrian Lamb. What about this man, Aidan Caesar? What a season he has had as he leads the Huddersfield Giants out here, who would love nothing more, Phil Clark, than to upset the Wigan Warriors here tonight.
No, and there's not just Aidan Caesar with talent. The right centre, Jake Wardle, has been fantastic, and if I'm right, will line up against Zach Ardeka, who last week at St Helens reminded me of a Wigan centre 25 years ago. They called him Mean Dean Bell, who was the New Zealand international captain at one point, and Zach Ardeka had that same presence and effect on the match.
Okay, the players are lining up, Phil, thanks very much. They're taking the field here at Emerald Headingley. We will have a minute's silence that will be preceded by the sounding of the last post by Bugler Staff Sergeant Nick Burrows from the Lancashire Artillery Band for Remembrance Day. Then a minute's silence. Staff Sergeant Nick Burrows from the Lancashire Artillery Band, who sounded the last post. The players will now get into position and then show their respects for Black Lives Matter. You caught a glimpse of Captain Sean O'Loughlin of the Wigan Warriors. They hope to have him back in the next couple of weeks. Well, they would get a week off if they win this game. We'll go to our commentary team shortly. First, though, on the referee's whistle, respect for Black Lives Matter. Well, Phil Clark has questioned whether or not the Wigan Warriors can bring the same levels of intensity to this match as they did last week. We will find out now in the company of our commentary team, Terry O'Connor, Barry McDermott and Bill Arthur.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Phil. What a week it has been in Rugby League. Again, the season's playoffs in Super League brought forward. The Toronto Wolfpack excluded from next season's competition. And that leaves Super League looking for a 12th team to make up the ranks in 2021. More uncertainty in a season of uncertainty. But one thing is certain. A Wigan win here at Emerald Headingley tonight. And that will see them crowned as league leaders for the first time in 8 years. Huddersfield stand in their way, Terry. Can Wigan overcome them? Will Huddersfield spoil the party?
Well, Huddersfield are a determined side. You don't have to look at the results. Recently, the games that they've lost, they're losing games by small margins, and they'll go out there and they'll throw this ball around. What have they got to lose? And people could say that maybe they're lacking on confidence losing the last 4 games, but Luke Robinson against one of his former clubs will have this side well and truly up for this challenge.
Chris Kendall is the referee tonight, and James Child, the video ref, as Aiton Caesar hoists the first kick of the night into the arms of Bevan French. Very much the man of the moment for the Wigan Warriors, outstanding against St Helens last week and staying with Wigan for another season, which is an almighty coup for the club when you think there were sides in Australia trying to tempt him back home.
Absolutely. Since the moment he put that cherry and white shirt on, we all saw the threat he has with the ball. His lightning pace and speed, but what he's got a pride in that shirt. Everybody loves to watch him play, or everybody who supports the cherry and whites. But tonight will tell us a lot about Wigan. Are they able to deliver when the pressure is on? If they play well and win, they'll get that league leaders shield.
Solid defence from Huddersfield to stop Willie Isa on the charge. Here is Tommy Luluai, 300th appearance for him as he puts the kick in, and back goes Lewis Senior to gather that ball.
It was a good kick, wasn't it? Thomas Luluai at the line, and you know they've had some fantastic overseas players, Wigan, over the years, but when you look at them, Trent Barrett, Jackson Hairston, Stephen Off, Dave Ferner, Bevan French, but I think he's got to be one of the best signings in Super League for the Wigan side. What he's given to them, his leadership, how good he is with and without the ball, and a real solid player for the club.
Well, he was brilliant against St Helens last week in the victory that dislodged the Saints from the top of the table and has given Wigan this opportunity to lift the league leaders' shield. Glistening on the sidelines it was as they came out to take the field, and now it's Wigan advancing. Brad Singleton it was. Here is Jackson Hastings, who rounded off that victory over Saints with his try last week, the decisive try. Gildart now is Sam Powell. Bullock, and about 10 metres away from those posts. Short ball, and on the charges, Singleton back on familiar turf. Brad Singleton, and he's right underneath those posts. Huddersfield defending desperately early on here. Luluai's pass on, Isa puts it down. First opportunity for Wigan, and they couldn't take advantage. Luluai claiming the ball was batted down. He might have a point there.
Yeah, one of their top performers. We talked about Thomas Luluai and his influence on this squad, but you can say the same thing about Willie Isa. Tough and uncompromising when he's defending, but when it comes time on that right edge to hit a hard line, he'll step up. There was a fumble there at the play of the ball in his senior. He just loses control when he's trying to play that ball, piling pressure on his side now. We've had 3.5 minutes, and Wigan have had the ball. They've looked to make meters, push the Huddersfield Giants back, and when they've got the ball, they've made that mistake.
Oh, that could be costly for the Giants, gifting Wigan possession. in the shadow of those posts, the Giants posts, and Wigan once more on the attack. Powell, Hastings, Luluai. Here is French, and French is closely watched by the Giants defenders. McQueen in there, Wardle Senior as well. Hardacre now. Here is Luluai, has to stoop to pick that ball up. Joe Bullock driven back. Matai in with the tackle. Powell fancies it himself. Powell for the line. He's held up.
Good defence. Is it Brandon Moore?
Referee's not sure. Hang on, Barry.
I think it's Brandon Moore who's underneath Sam Powell. I think he does just enough.
Try.
Well, I didn't think he got the ball down. I felt like the reaction of the players told the same story. However, I may be wrong.
Isn't he so important to Wigan in the middle of the field? We see how good he is defensively. You can see he's looking to get that ball down. Does he get the tip of the ball down? He doesn't for me. He doesn't get it down. The referee, Chris Kendall, is in a good position. And as he's going to get it down, no. He's trying everything. He has been in great form, hasn't he, this year? Sam Powell.
It's just a point of the ball, maybe gets makes contact.
No, I'm not having it. I accept your apology, Chris Kendall.
It's gone up as a try, hasn't it?
It has. James Child having a very close look at this.
Well, is there a blade of grass that touches the ball?
No.
So
I might disagree with you, Barry.
Opening minutes of the game, has Sam Powell got Wigan off to a flying start by the shortest of pieces of grass he has, I think.
Well, I'm astonished because that ball did not touch the floor.
Well, James Child reckoned it did.
And his opinion is the only one that matters. Sam Powell has done what he's done all year, which is pick up, have a look what's available to him, get that low sense of gravity, that low body angle, and he struggles and fights his way to make it ever so close to putting the ball down, and I'm leaving it at that. Let's move on.
You look at that at normal speed, and it certainly looks as though he was close, but didn't get that ball down. But close analysis from James Child reveals, in his view, that Sam Powell did get it down for his 11th try of the season. Hardacre converts, and Wigan, 5 minutes into the game, lead by 6 points to 0.
A lot of people look at Sam Powell and look what he does defensively, but his work on the ball, so close to the line, I think has been one of his strong points this year. Defensively, there's only Michael Lawrence who's made more tackles than him. But when he is close to the line, his delivery of the pass, what he does to get the ball over, is really good. Big asset for this Wigan club.
Zach Hardacre on target. He had a bad night with the boot last week against St Helens. 1 from 4 he kicked. Can be erratic. Kicked 9 from 10 the previous week, Hardacre. But he's off to a good start. Simple conversion of a simple try, really, from Sam Powell. Huddersfield will probably feel hard done by about that. Here is Liam Farrell.
You're right, Bill, but they'll also be disappointed in their effort. You don't like, as a team, to give tries away that close. Not too much finesse, not too many questions asked. Just be in his intensity of his run, Sam Powell.
Here is Brad Singleton now. He was in the Leeds side in 2015 that won the league leaders trophy. Dramatic night, ironically, at Huddersfield.
I'm pretty sure Zach Hardacre was in that side as well. There's also a number of players within this squad that were involved. The last time that Wigan Warriors managed to pick that team up, we talked about Thomas Luluai and his influence. He was in that side. Sean O'Loughlin isn't playing, but Ben Flower, Liam Farrell, all members of the last team to lift that league leaders shield.
So here is Ashton Golding, another player on this field who knows this pitch well, having appeared for the Leeds Rhinos. This man has appeared for only one club. Michael Lawrence, in his 14th season at the Giants. He's nearing 300 Huddersfield appearances, Giants. Chris McQueen is a newcomer.
That's what he does. Thomas Luluai just hits under the ribs every time, doesn't he? Again, looking to put pressure on, along with teammate Zach Hardacre, and it's that pressure the extra work from Thomas Luluai to get in the eye line of the youngster, Ollie Russell. He just slices the kick and kicks it out of the field.
Big night for Ollie Russell as well. Began his career as an academy player at the Wigan Warriors, shown the door. He's resurrected his career and doing a damn fine job as well. Ollie Russell just sitting behind Lee Gaskell, picking up experience, picking up knowledge from Aidan Caesar.
Well, here come Wigan again. Joe Bullock.
They're a big side. They like to play nice and direct and give Jackson Hastings that field position.
They've got good field position now. Hastings, French manages to squeeze the pass out to Jake Bibby, and Bibby with quick feet. He's got very good feet as Jake Bibby. He's done well on the wing. Came to Wigan as a centre from Salford, but they've used him in the last few months as a wingman. Here is Singleton now. He's about 5-6 metres away from that Huddersfield line. Powell, Tommy Luluai, Joe Bullock. Bullock wrapped up by Wardle and Jordan Turner. Powell fires the pass to Hastings. Hastings for Farrell, but Farrell runs into a clutch of Giants defenders. It was on the last. That's a good outcome for the Giants on that occasion.
Well, they've got a good combination, Jackson Hastings and Liam Farrell. Normally you see the outside defenders rush up and take their eyes off what Farrell's doing, but all eyes were on him then, knowing how dangerous he is so close to the line, Farrell.
McGilvery plays the ball. Here is Leroy Cudjoe. He's just reached 300 career appearances, another stalwart of the Giants. Wardle now. And Brandon Moore. This is his final game for Huddersfield on loan from the Halifax club. Or will there be more for the Giants? Of course, they are on standby just in case there are more COVID complications in the closing weeks. Here's Golding as Huddersfield keep it alive. McQueen quickly on. The ball over the top, reaches Senior. Senior skips infield, and it's just an ankle tap from Hardacre, and then Bibby finishes off. Oh, nice run from Russell, but he lost his footing, gets the pass away, and Partington is there.
Again, it's the second time he's been put under pressure, Ollie Russell. They really do like to test out the opposition with their aggressive line speed. The Warriors. I agree with Barry, he is a very good player, a youngster. Playing with Aidan Caesar will certainly help him develop his own game.
He needs a bit more from his players on that last tackle to give him a little bit more time. Fourth and fifth tackle.
Gildart just over the halfway line. Luke Robinson saying before the game when he spoke to Jenna that he's only had 18 fit players to pick from for this game. Some notable candidates out as French chips that one over the top. Teasing kick. Across comes Golding, watches it go. He wouldn't run. And he had to touch it, I think, just over the line. He did, says Chris Kemble.
Bevan French. It's a testing kick. You can see Ashton Golding keeping patient, wishing that ball over the try line.
Who touches it?
Well, it looks on that replay that it was Ashton Golding, but Huddersfield Giants have got the ball.
You have got to have nerves of steel to play fullback, haven't you? When you test it with a high ball over from kicks like that.
Well, Golding got it right. I beg his pardon. It was French with a fingertip. That's Golding. Now then, here is Aidan Caesar. Key man, leads the Man of Steel rankings. Still does Aidan Caesar. As Cudjoe plays the ball. Off-road goes Jermaine McGilvray. Huddersfield as deep into Wigan territory as they have been so far in 11 minutes of this contest. Time tries to barge his way through. That's the fifth tackle. Russell ships it on. It's Caesar who hoists a kick to try and test Bevan French out, but Bibby was running protection, and French almost gets away until McQueen collars him, literally.
You've got to get your kick chase right. If Bevan French catches that ball with one or two spaces available to him, he's smart enough, brave enough, quick enough to exploit that. So not only has it got to be a good kick, it's got to be a good kick chase too.
Willie Isa plays the ball just inside his own half. Partington on to Joe Bullock. Began his career with the Lee Centurions. Joe Bullock and Hastings onto Farrell, but quickly up on him is Leroy Cudjoe. That's the fifth tackle. Hastings. He's able to loft that kick, and Golding comes for it, claims it well, and then sets off to counter.
Looks so controlled at the back, isn't he? Ash Golding. Thought he was very good last week when they played against Warrington. Made 5 tackles, saved a dead set try. Really strong performance.
Another game for Huddersfield that they were so close in, as they have been since lockdown. They've lost 4 in a row, and they have been the nearly men of a Super League this season. They've thrown away a 26-6 lead against Leeds, losing to a drop goal in extra time. There's another 1-point defeat to the Wolves a week later. It's been that sort of season for them.
Heartbreaking for them, hasn't it? I think it was Brian in the studio said 5 games they've lost by a try or less.
Caesar kicking to Joe Burgess's wing. The first touch of the ball, I think it is, for him tonight. Burgess all been on that Wigan right-hand side, but Burgess comfortable under that catch.
Well, this is where Huddersfield really need to test Wigan out. See, both sides are looking to shift the ball. Huddersfield need to get numbers in, and if they do get good contact, they've got to take the Warriors to ground. You can see when Partington goes down, he drops to his knees looking for a quick play, the ball for Powell.
Here is Liam Farrell. Farrell escapes McQueen's tackle. It's Brandon Moore who brings him down. Powell. Hastings drills the kick downfield, and Golding has nothing to do with that.
And Bill, that's the point I was making. Liam Farrell breaks a few tackles, lands on his front, plays the ball before the defensive line of Huddersfield is set. The markers are in place, and that allows Wigan to get a good kick away. I was talking about Ollie Russell and his lack of time. That last tackle, the 4th or 5th tackle, has to be quick to allow the time and space for the kicker.
10 seconds.
Players just catching their breath for the first time in almost 15 minutes, because it's again been a whirlwind start to a game. Hardly a let-up. Now Huddersfield have to bring this ball away from their own territory, deep in their own territory. Here is Wardle Senior.
They're not looking for that battle up the middle of the field. They're shifting the ball, 2 players from the ruck area. Jordan Turner just trying to isolate a play, get a quick play. The ball, he's not dominated, goes short side.
Caesar, Cudjoe now. Cudjoe. Great footwork, Leroy Cudjoe. Still 32 years of age. Had his injury problems recently, so good to see him back in the side, getting a sustained run of action. Now they go leftwards. Here is Russell, but Russell runs into Wigan defenders. Led as ever by Mr. Dependable, Willie Isa. Caesar, little dink into the corner, teasing kick. Well dealt with by French, but French had nowhere to go by the sidelines, and Wardle was there to make sure that's where he went.
Well, Jake Wardle, what a player he is. Every time we see him, we're constantly talking about him. He buys a bit of time, makes sure that he's onside with the kick from Caesar. He doesn't give up on that bouncing ball, and he knows as soon as Bevan French has got it, he's got a man-handling. And to think that this is only his 38th appearance in first team rugby is incredible. I think he's tremendous talent.
Great kick though from Aidan Caesar to pin Bevan French down. There was really nothing French could do bar grab that ball and hope for the best. And it's given Huddersfield a great opportunity here now. They trail 6 points to 0. Opportunity to strike back.
6 again to the Giants. Referee Chris Kendall not happy with the way that we're going to try to slow it down at the play of the ball.
Partington tangled up there. So great opportunity for Huddersfield now. Here is Lawrence. About 5 metres, if that, away from the Wigan try line. Caesar. Here is Russell. Russell, little step. Good defence again. It was Brad Singleton with the tackle. Here is Brandon Moore. Moore gets the pass away to Lawrence. Lawrence towards the post, but again, there, Tony Clubb out there for Wigan. Early doors here. Caesar, though, but had to adjust to take that pass, and Farrell was on him in a flash. Brandon Moore. Turner's little grubber kick, and it's French who picks it up, but there was an offside, I beg your pardon.
Well, offside on the last play. You will see Chris Kendall just telling the Warriors, you've got to make sure that you stay behind the line when playing the ball, and giving them some field position here.
You're right with that previous play, though. Brandon Moore passes the ball, it's too far behind Aidan Cedar. He has to check and loses that advantage. Number 37 in your pitch, he's normally really accurate from the back of the play the ball.
He's accurate there. So is Aidan Caesar. Ball over the top. Warder gets it away. Oh, great defence from Bibby. Great defence from Bibby on Lewis Senior. Bibby gets the plaudits of his teammates. That was a crucial tackle.
Well, he's hitting some form, isn't he, Bibby? And that's what he'll be after, consistency in his performances, and that's a big, big tackle. He comes up with on Senior. Look at that, hits him with absolutely everything. Gives himself a chance, the youngster, but the defence was just too strong. You can see the way that they celebrate. They like defending the Warriors, don't they? That's always a sign of a good side, and they show intent on the other side of the ball.
That's helped them survive that onslaught from Huddersfield. Jake Bibby, who's been on the wing for 5 of the last 6 games. Don Manfredi still about a week away from returning to the Wigan lineup. Interesting dilemma. They've just got this dilemma at Wigan with the number of wingers. That's why Tom Davis is in Perpignan with the Catalan Dragons, and Joe Burgess is clinging on to his position.
Well, it seems Adrian Lam's got wingers and prop forwards coming out of his ears.
Josh Charnley, of course, he's now at Warrington. He came back from Sale Rugby Union. There was no place for him at Wigan.
And let's not forget unlucky Liam Marshall, of course, out injured. Here is Gildart. Gildart almost finding a way through, then losing the ball, and Golding picks it up. Let off for the Huddersfield Giants there, because Oliver Gildart almost found a way through.
That's terrific work from Jermaine McGilvray. He's carting the ball up here for his side. Again, much experience in that number 2. He lets him go past, trips him almost like a Cumberland throw, using the players' own momentum against him. Picks up the ball, and Huddersfield Giants and Jermaine McGilvray still in this battle, still asking questions.
Well, they're asking questions of the try that's put Wigan in front 6 points to 0, but Sam Powell got it, Hardacre converted it, coming up to the 20-minute mark, and Wigan, by virtue of those points, lead here. Chris McQueen heading for the sidelines, just managed to stay in the field of play. Here is Michael Lawrence now. Moore gets the pass away to Caesar. Caesar under a little bit of pressure there, gets the kick away. French is underneath it. The French looks up and sees the Giants defenders in his face.
I think it was Moore that tipped the ball onto Caesar. You're going to kick the ball, you need to make sure that you get it first attempt. And again, Huddersfield, like Wigan, offside. The referee, Chris Kendall, is consistent. They're all stood in front of him. Can't blame the referee for giving that penalty away. We talked about that Wigan and Saints game last week, which I thought was absolutely tremendous. I thought that man who's repping tonight was outstanding. Outstanding he was.
Well, the 2 penalties so far, 1 each to both sides, and it's about staying on side and those small disciplines within the game.
Here's Oliver Partington once again named at loose forward by Adrian Lamb. Luluai's short pass to Tony Clubb, who has joined the action, I think replacing Joe Bullock. Here is Hastings now. Hastings, Willie Isa though is met by McQueen and Russell. Now Hastings drifting across the field. Luluai avoids the first challenge. Kumatai brings him down. Brandon Moore there as well. Here is Hastings one more. Hastings to Farrell, and Farrell very nearly spinned out, but that's the last tackle, that's the turnover. And again, Huddersfield just do enough.
On 3 occasions in that set of 6, Bill, it's just been a little tip-on play from either Luluai or Jackson Hastings. Sooner or later, that ball's going to go out the back.
That's right, Tez. It's a nice disguise, and it sometimes fools the defenders into that false sense sense of security. They think it's a certain short pass, it'll go out of the back to a player with the speed and agility of Bevan French. It's only a matter of time before they bring that play out.
There is Leroy Cutcho now, 3 tackles gone, and Huddersfield struggling to make ground here in the face of once more some really brutal Wigan defence.
Sam Powell's solid hit from him.
Morgan Smith is on, he doesn't hang around either. Wardle, that's the 5th tackle, the ball back with Caesar. Caesar over the top into the arms of Joe Burgess. Burgess finds Bevan French. Cutcho with the tackle.
A good chase from Huddersfield. Now this is where they really do need to try and build that pressure, plug the gap. If you can see the next man who's defending next to you a bit too wide, you've got to make sure that you work extra hard. And it's the speedsters that do all the hard work for the Warriors, bringing the ball out of trouble.
Heavy contact from Trout. Owen Trout on off the bench for the Giants, gets his shoulder in.
It's a young Huddersfield Giants bench, apart from James Gavitt, who's the experienced member of the Giants bench at 31 years of age. Other than that is Sam Wood, Owen Trout, and the debut boy Ronan Michael, who's 19 years of age. So that could be where the Giants might be exposed. That's a kick that is dropped by Senior.
He just leaves the floor, doesn't he? He just jumps for it. I'm not sure he needed to, Lewis Senior. The great Wigan fullback, Gary Connolly, used to say all the time, don't leave unless you need to, because once you've left the ground, you can't change direction. And the twist and trajectory of that ball just beat the young winger.
So Wigan gain possession on the Giants' 10-metre line. Chris McQueen just taking his time, William Trout. And now he's with Tony Clubb. Clubb just back in action, really. He was out for 12 games. Takes some stopping, he does these days. Eventually they managed to do that. Smithies, McQueen, and Owen Trout doing the tackling there. Sam Powell now. Powell goes right, and his quick hands. Oh, Bibby could take the pass.
There it was, Bill. The ball out the back, and unfortunately for Wigan, Jake Bibby, he couldn't catch that ball, but look, Bevan French, what skills he has at his disposal. Catches and passes in the same motion. Beautiful stuff.
And for Senior, he can't hesitate. If he's going to choose to jam in, he's got to go and get Bevan French. Prevent that pass from getting out to Bibby.
Frustration for coach Adrian Lamb. Jay Bibby, who's already pulled off a try-saving tackle this evening. Close to another try for the Wigan Warriors side, but he couldn't switch on to that ball. We had a great game in the first State of Origin match. Origin 2 comes up at 9 a.m. on Wednesday on Sky Sports Arena, and Sky Sports main event. Can New South Wales recover from blowing the lead they had in that game? Can they turn it around in game 2? Find out next Wednesday. They've got some pieces to pick up of New South Wales after that defeat. Lawrence, Aiden Caesar now. Here is Joe Wardle. That's the 5th tackle. 40-metre line. Caesar, another angled kick, finds touch.
Does really well, doesn't he? He only has probably 4 metres, 5 metres to play with. He's under pressure from the inside from his opposite, Jackson Hastings, and that trusty left boot of his. Accurate, over the sideline, slow the pace of the ball, slow the pace of the game down, just turn that thermostat down a little bit.
Little word between two great practitioners of that art there, Jackson Hastings and Aiden Caesar. Hastings with the tackle, and they just a brief word, smile on Caesar's face. What a great recruit he has been this season for the Giants.
Both of them have shown the big game players, aren't they? Pull all the strings for the sides in attack.
Gavitt is on there, he doesn't mess around. Flinging Hardacre to the ground. Oliver Partington And that's the 40-metre line in the Wigan half. It's a chilly, murky night here at Emerald Headingley as Gildar gets away from McGilvraith's tackle, and Gildar trying to wrong foot Cudjoe. Cudjoe too wily, too experienced. Leroy Cudjoe sticks to his task, makes the tackle. Here is Burgess now. Stooped running style he's got. Fifth tackle, so Hastings tests out the Giants rear guard again, and French bats it, didn't go backwards, went into the arms of Jake Wardle.
They were under some pressure as soon as Jackson Hastings kicked that ball. The cherry and white shirts were trying to get anywhere near this scene as he jumped for the ball. Bevan French looking to tap it back to Bibby, and just look at that line speed, intimidating line speed. But let me tell you, any team that defends like that, whatever shirt you've got on, it makes you as a ball carrier a bit unnervy, a bit restless.
Here's Jermaine McGilvraith. Moore now. Michael Lawrence. Just inside Huddersfield's 40-metre line. That's the fourth tackle. And the Giants with Russell gets the kick away and out on the full. Again, the pressure was on the young man. And again, Wigan managed to just put him off his stride.
Like Barry was saying before, that if you're going to kick the ball, the previous tackle needs to be quicker, especially when you're over on that left-hand side. You've got Willie Icy, you've got Thomas Lulaway. They will take it upon themselves to pressure the kicker. They work extra hard.
And who was it doing the pressuring? I think it was Tommy Lulaway.
Willie Icy, yeah.
Willie Icy. Well, now then, on the back of that, here is Burgess as Wigan look to capitalise. Will that pressure pay off? Wardle on Burgess, stopping his progress. Here is Hastings, Partington now. Just inside the Giants 20. Powell appeals. The referee agrees, set restart. Smithies. Tackles in the bank for the Wigan Warriors now. Can they make the most of them? Hardacre, good defence, cuts him down just short of the line, and Hardacre felt that.
Good line back against the grain from Hardacre, where he's injured himself.
Slow to get to his feet. Here is Lulaway. Ben Flower off the bench and into action for the Wigan Warriors, the Welsh international. And Huddersfield hold out again. They've withstood 3 or 4 Wigan attacks on their line, but this time they've got Hastings stepping. Hastings with the pass, and it was French who couldn't take it, and another opportunity goes begging.
Well, he looks over on the left-hand side, Jackson Hastings. There's nothing on, so he bounces back across the field. And straight away, the attacking player that is Bevan French offers himself, but just couldn't take that ball. You see Adrian Lamb knows. He lives every play, doesn't he? Lives every play.
That's 2. The Jake Bibby try, no try. That opportunity.
Well, you take your chances. You keep presenting those opportunities to Wigan, and sooner or later those are going to come off, aren't they?
If you don't take them.
Yeah, I agree, Bill. It's a difficult pass to make because it needs to be soft enough and kind enough to a bloke that's running at pace. And the pace of Bevan French, we've already talked about that, but he didn't have hold of the ball. Oh, rare offload from Huddersfield Giants.
Gavitt who got the ball away, and determination from Ash Golding.
He's good, isn't he, Gavitt? Yeah, 3 men around him for that late offload.
But I also think with players on the field that can promote that ball, Akuma Tai being one of the best ones on his day, that will trouble Wigan. That's a big plus for Huddersfield Giants if they can play that type of game where they force an offload.
Well, can they turn this into something? Kick from Caesar again. French goes back.
Well, kicking on the third player as well. This is an attacking set in defence now from Aidan Caesar on his side. Trying to be as dominant as they can be here. Well, slow the game down.
Sorry, Tez. Luke Robinson in the last few weeks has talked about his side making decisions or not making the right decisions, the correct decisions when they've been under pressure. What Aidan Caesar is trying to do for Luke Robinson's men is turn that pressure and turn that
stress that Wigan are under with that kicking game and pinning them down near their own try line.
Here's Willie Isa just inside Wigan's half. That's the 5th tackle. It's good defensive set from the Giants here as Hastings again decides to test out the Giants' rear guard, but Golding is underneath it and gets the ball to McGilvray.
Well, he's one of the best at the back, I think, Ash Golding, at catching those high balls, and straight away, as soon as he catches it, he's got Jermaine McGilvray lining up to take the ball off him. One of the best wingers on those kick returns.
Lewis Senior then takes it up. Wigan ahead by 6 points to 0. The try scored very early on by Sam Powell.
And when we listened to what Luke Robinson, the Huddersfield coach, said before the game, he said, look, I believe in this side. We have got massive potential. Sometimes we've not showed it, but I do believe in this squad, and he obviously believes that they can get the win here.
Russell now. Caesar. Golding chiming in. Gets the pass to McGilvray.
He did really well there. He was asking a lot of his winger, Ashton Golding, with that pass.
He was running out of space. He had Burgess all over him, and the ball was round his ankles, and he still managed to deal with the situation.
Quality player, Jermaine McGilvray. He's still got some flashes of brilliance, but he hides it because of that work ethic that he's got coming away from his own line. Begins the sets for his side. Wow. Catches it with his thigh.
Here's Bibby. Could have had a try to his name tonight, Jake Bibby.
I think they'd be happy with this at the minute. I know we've got 6 or 7 minutes before half-time, but Huddersfield Giants have gone toe-to-toe with Wigan Warriors, and you've already said it, Bill. They've messed up on 2 occasions, the Warriors, but the Giants have had bodies in the frame, shirts in the frame, making it messy for the Warriors.
Gavin McQueen with the tackle. Hastings. And Golding again is there to claim that one.
And that's where he's very good. Like I said, he is one of the best, mopping up, knowing that they've been pressuring Senior's side. Look at him, he just comes into the rescue. Yeah, that's mine. Get out of the way, lads.
Good work from Ash Golding.
Such an air of confidence as well in it. It's funny, isn't it? Ashton Golding and the number 1 for Wigan Warriors, Zach Hardacre, were battling during the Rhinos days for that one shirt for the blue and amber side.
Here is Wardle now. Huddersfield. Just the 1 try conceded. Michael Lawrence. That's the 5th tackle. Caesar ships it on to Cudjoe. It's Cudjoe's kick this time, goes straight up in the air. No distance on that, but it's Caesar underneath it, and Caesar will kick again. Russell will chase. Burgess loops round to pick the ball up and then turns and brings it away. Caesar wrestling with him.
Well, trying to strip the ball back in and see that Caesar from Burgess. Well, you'll never ever get, obviously, a Saints fan cheering Wigan on, but how many households in Saints at the minute are Huddersfield fans belting out those noises? Come on, you Giants.
Do you think anybody in St Helens is invested in a cowbell?
They are honorary Fartowners for tonight.
They're loving it, they're loving it.
Well, Huddersfield are making a good battle of it, trailing 6-0. Hastings is inside the 40, but straight down the middle of the field, high into the arms of Golding, and it's Senior now.
Chris McQueen and Jackson Hastings having a little scuffle after that kick was put in. Pressure from McQueen, and they just held together a little bit too long. Ended up McQueen was flung to the floor.
Chris McQueen's a seasoned campaigner. He's played Origin.
He has been a good signing, hasn't he, McQueen? The ex-West Tigers, I'm going to say Origin player. Here he is.
You'll have been happy with that first Origin game results.
Chris McQueen and George Burgess were teammates at South Sydney not too long ago.
Caesar now. Wardle. Golding. Cudjoe bounces away. from Gildart. Gildart comes back, come here, he says, and then he gets it away. Golding slips. And Gildart still chasing around like a maniac, tackling anything in a purple shirt. Gets hold of Cudjoe. That's the 5th tackle. Caesar hoists that one into a bit of space. French has to come for it, loses it. The ball bounces up, and it's dotted down by Sam Wood.
I think he's got this. I'm pretty sure that ball went backwards. It was a tremendous chase. I think it was Owen Trout.
It was Owen Trout.
If he's onside and he doesn't push this ball forward, then this is a well-worked, well-deserved try by Huddersfield Giants.
Well, look at the space that Caesar's got here. Everyone's okay on the left-hand side.
I think he's onside, Owen Trout. He jumps for this ball with Bevan French, doesn't it?
He just accelerates Owen Trout and just gets there. Even if it touches Trout, he's knocking that ball backwards, but the ball comes from Bevan French. And all of a sudden we'll have a little look if this is going to be a clean pick-up from Wood. There's not a problem.
Doesn't he do
That's
well?
Okay. Good pick-up.
Well, Purple Pride has ended up resulting in a try. I'm certain of this, but I was certain of the first one wasn't.
Sam Wood, right under the sticks, has got his 2nd try of the season. He was the man on the spot for the Huddersfield Giants. And Wood, with a kick to come, could have tied this game up. And what a kick it was from Aidan Caesar. It was just placed into that little bit of open space. French had to come for it, and Trout had room to challenge.
That's exactly right. It was enough hang time for the chasers to get there in the right spot, and it was too difficult for Bevan French with the huge shadow of Owen Trout in front of him. Perfection on the kick and chase, perfection on the regather from Sam Wood. And Huddersfield Giants, well, they will go in bouncing into this changing room at half-time.
Kick to come from Aidan Caesar. Half-time approaching, and this to level the scores. Caesar on target. His 38th successful goal kick, and we saw Sam Wood score a great try against Wakefield on Sky Sports. He's got another one tonight for the Giants.
Well, getting into these action earlies, that's what Aidan Caesar's saying. The ball goes back to Sam Wood, who made his debut against the Warriors 4 years ago as a 19-year-old. Like Barry said, this Huddersfield side will be bouncing once they get into those dressing rooms and listen to what the coach has got to say at half-time.
Wigan will be ruining those missed opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and sometimes you've got to credit the defence as well. When Jake Bibby dropped the ball over, the line was at his mercy. He just opened up, and that was a simple one that they lost. But they're not giving up, they know.
And that's a fullback running right through an 8 and 10, Bill. That's a determined run. A little bit of footwork in there from Ashton Golding. They're on the front foot, the Giants. They don't want half-time. I said they'll be bouncing. They don't want half-time. They're well in front.
Wigan, of course, looking for the win tonight that would confirm them as league leaders, mean they would lift the league leaders trophy at the end of proceedings tonight. They've won 8 of their last 10 in Super League as Huddersfield reach the 5th tackle, and Caesar finds touch. Or does he? No.
7 tackles, will that be?
Yeah, just misjudged that first one of the night that Aidan Caesar has got wrong. But at the moment, 6 points apiece. It's St Helens fans who are probably feeling a bit better about life, because of course if Wigan do slip up, Saints will get the league leadership. Wigan would finish in 3rd place in the table.
Well, one of the shocks in the Super League season happened on this ground. It involved Wigan, and it was against Hull KR, when no one ever thought that Wigan would get beat by them. So conceded 34 points.
Hastings does well to avoid Caesar as Gildart goes on a run. Gildart is tackled. Little kick ahead from Burgess, and Ashton Goldings will do the sensible thing and make the ball dead. And Adrian Lamb, puff of the cheeks, probably frustrated, heads down to the sidelines to greet his side. Sam Woods, though, satisfied with his performance, coming off the bench, the 23-year-old, to score the try for Luke Robinson's side. with the kick. Popped over by Aidan Caesar. That means it's 6 points apiece at half-time.
Thank you very much, Bill, Barry and Terry. I wonder what they make of that first 40 minutes over in St. Helens. No doubt their squad standing by watching what might be a Huddersfield result that goes in their favour. The Giants trudge off here half-time, locked up at 6 points apiece. Well, they had plenty to defend. They defended manfully, and they've given themselves a great chance of upsetting the Wigan Warriors. Wigan, well, they'll bemoan what were plenty of chances in a 40 minutes that yielded them just a solitary try. Adrian Land's exasperation evident at times. League leader shield and first place, and a week off before the playoffs begin. Is a prize on offer for the Warriors? Well, first half analysis of that on the way.
Attention, medic.
Triple helping from the NFL. Coming up for you on Sky Sports NFL this Sunday. Seahawks are at the Bills, 5 p.m. Sky Sports NFL. That's followed by the Dolphins Cardinals at 9:15 p.m. And then Alvin Kamara's New Orleans Saints take on the Buccaneers at 1:10 past. All right. At half-time in Game 2 of our doubleheader from the Betfred Super League. The regular season comes to a close tonight and we head next week into the playoffs. Will the Wigan Warriors head to the playoffs as league leaders for 2020, or will they finish in third, which will be their fate should they lose to the Huddersfield Giants tonight? They're locked up at 6 points apiece. The Giants will go into the playoffs as a 7th place side on standby should any of the top 6 fall foul of COVID-19. Let's have a look at the stats from the first 40 minutes. Possession split 50-50. Far more meters made, though, by the Huddersfield Giants. Less handling errors. 7 from the Wigan Warriors. Much different from last week's near flawless performance at the home of the Saints. Right, Phil Clark, pre-game, you posed the question. You doubted whether or not the Wigan Warriors could rise to the standards of last week. Have we seen a significant dip from the Wigan Warriors, or have we seen a Huddersfield Giants side that have shown us themselves at their very best, their belligerent best this year?
I think a combination of both. I thought Wigan started very impressively, aggressively, intensity in that play early on, but I don't think they maintained it for the full 40 minutes. And the longer the game went on, the more I felt watching here from the side, the Giants grew in confidence and competed and maybe looked even stronger as the game wore on.
Yeah, when your opponents leave tries behind them, you will of course grow an extra leg. And Wigan, as you said, started really well and should have maybe had a couple of scores in their favour early on.
Well, they did. They challenged on this side of the field, and they're trying to get outside Oliver Russell with Willie Ice. But it wasn't long after that, at that end of the field here, that they did score. I think it's a brilliant try. The more often you watch it, he does very well, Sam Powell. I'm not convinced he gets the ball on terra firma, but the referee is there and awards it, and they get the points. He does remarkably well. I mean, to score, it's hardly like he's Kieran Cunningham in his pomp. Sam Powell's done well.
Just 6 points, though, for all that possession and position on the field that they had. Then came the Huddersfield Giants. Set restart, penalty went in their favour, and they put the Wigan line under intense pressure.
Yeah, they have had less over 40 minutes time attacking Wigan's try line, but there was a period where I think they had 8 play the balls, all within about 10 metres of Wigan's try line. Here's another one, of course, that they had because of that penalty. But at this point in the game, Wigan had the organisation and the energy to get across and deny a try in the corner. Wonderful tackle there, maybe to deny Senior. But the longer the game grew on, you've got the feeling that Aidan Caesar was going to have an impact on the game. And what's impressive for me is not the kick, the chase of 2 substitutes who come on the field. And one Trout helps the other Wood. I suppose if you've been sat on the bench, you've got no excuse for blowing. They had to make an impact. And the fact that Trout gets up off the floor and turns his body to push the ball backwards, if he was the first one to make it, is a significant play there. Well, the bounce of the ball goes their way and they score as a result.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smart play from him as well. He makes a play at it to try and catch it. There's every chance he knocks the ball on. He just has to get in the way of Bevan French or bat the ball backwards.
Well, when they look back on the season of 2020, there's so many games in it where they say, we had some bad luck here, we had some bad luck there. Eventually, I think you get the bounce of the ball going your way. It has for that try, and it may in the second half. Wigan they'll have to dig very, very deep here, because the determination we saw from Aidan Caesar to grab that team around him and say, listen, we're not going to blow another close game here.
When in the second half, and at what score lines will the pressure come on the Wigan Warriors, bearing in mind what's at stake here? There's a week off should they win. There's the 2020 League Leaders Shield. If they lose, they're back in action again next week against Hull FC. No easy task.
I don't think there is. I mean, but hopefully from our point of view, we go to the very last minute, and every St Helens supporter watching and every Super League supporter watching is biting the nail till the very last second.
When do they start feeling the pressure?
I would imagine they're starting to feel the pressure a bit now. They would have liked and they would have expected to be narrowly ahead, I think, at the half-time, the way they started with that pace and intensity. But they weren't. They need a bit more impact. We saw George Burgess come on the field towards the end. Be interesting to see if he can start to put a dent in the Huddersfield defensive line down the middle of the field. And then Sam Powell and Jackson Hastings, Tommy Luluai can start to play off that dominance in the midfield.
Well, he'd only played 6 matches this season, George Burgess, before this one. He came on with 6 minutes to go, and the teams, they're locked up at 6 points apiece as we go to a break here at Emerald Headingley Stadium. When we come back, the last 40 minutes maybe of the season for the Huddersfield Giants. Certainly will be the last 40 of the 2020 Betfred Super League regular season. Before we head to the playoffs, will Wigan go there on top of the table? never to be forgotten year. Who will be crowned the 2020 Betfred Super League champions? You can find out, as ever, with us here on Sky Sports. Friday, November the 27th, the KCOM Stadium in Hull, the Super League Grand Final. Our coverage will start at 7 p.m. on Sky Sports Arena and on Sky Sports main event. Oh, what a night the Grand Final is. Fireworks playing a huge part in the celebrations of the big day in the Betfred Super League's calendar. Well, we've had the fireworks over Emerald Headingley Stadium tonight. We've had the literal ones. The figurative ones on the field haven't yet come, as the Huddersfield Giants are holding the Wigan Warriors 6 points apiece. Wigan lose this one. St Helens are crowned league leaders, finish the table first, and Wigan go into the playoffs against Hull next week. But Warrington will be elevated to second. So much riding on this for the Wigan Warriors, St Helens, the Warrington Wolves, and indeed the Huddersfield Giants, where the club will be on standby for the first week of the playoffs. Standing by and waiting for us to go back to them are Barry McDermott, Terry O'Connor, and Bill Arthur.
Thanks, Brian. Yes, the mist hovering over Emerald Headingley Stadium, the chill in the air, the fireworks, as you say, have been going off around the ground. Where we're going to get some fireworks in the second half. 6 points apiece as Huddersfield get us underway. Willie Isa in possession, and I wonder, will Wigan come out revved up from the words of Adrian Lamb, saying you can't afford to squander the opportunities that you've been creating?
I would imagine Adrian Lamb has given them some very valuable information in no uncertain terms. I think it was way below their standards. They had a couple of mistakes, a couple of drop balls, but their effort areas that has turned it in the first half, they're just not quite as good as Huddersfield Giants. We were talking before we came back after half-time. Young Ollie Russell is on the left. I don't know whether I'd have been tempted to put Aidan Caesar, left-footed kicker, on this left edge, put Ollie on the right, give him a bit more space and freedom, but Luke Robinson has kept the team and both 6 and 7 in the same positions.
Ben Flower now for the Wigan Warriors, 40-metre line, Giants half, that's the 5th tackle. As Flower is dumped to the ground, Hastings with the kick under pressure from Lawrence. Golding is underneath it and gets away from the first tackler, runs into Hardacre and Tommy Luluai. Adrian Lamb saying in the week that Luluai's just too good to think about retiring or giving up. He's just playing so well. The last couple of games he's been absolutely, last week he was outstanding.
I think it was an immense sign. I remember when he first came over as a young junior Kiwi, played down at London, quality player, picked up by the Warriors, then left, went back to New Zealand, then came back. But he does all the work that he does on and off the field really does benefit the young players.
But it's Huddersfield in possession. It's with Brandon Moore. That's the 5th tackle. We'll be getting the half-time news from Jenna Brooks very shortly as Caesar inside his 40 puts the kick in. But Bibby is there to grab the ball. Good opportunity to go downstairs and hear from Jenna.
Adrian Lamb pleased with his side's effort. He said that they just need to be more composed and fix some of those errors. I mean, 7 handling errors in that first half. Luke Robinson said that his side's effort was amazing, but they just put themselves under way too much pressure. If they can keep defending like that, then they'll be in it at the end.
They put themselves under pressure here, thanks Jenna, because Luke Robinson's team have conceded another set of 6. Set restart, hooter sounding. Wigan on the 40-metre line in their own half. Hardacre it is, playing the ball. Willie Isa steaming onto that pass. He's missed just 1 of 19 games this season, Willie Isa. He is so reliable. As the ball is spun out wide, goes forward, reaches Burgess via a forward pass. And again, Wigan's final ball just lacking there.
The mistakes of the game. It's credit to Jermaine McGilvray for getting up on Ollie Gildat. You can see him trying to rush that pass to get the ball to Burgess because he knows and he can feel Jermaine McGilvray just jamming in on him.
Joey, you're not trapping me, you just tell your hand in.
Doing a good job tonight, the Huddersfield Giants.
10 seconds.
Well, Luke Robinson, the Huddersfield coach, talked about the effort that these players always put in. But you get them up the right area of the field, and in Aidan Caesar, who's come up with 19 try assists this year, they've got a player that can break down many defences.
Leading in the Man of Steel rankings, as mentioned, Aidan Caesar. Isa with the tackle on Trout. Just back in the side after 3 games out, Owen Trout. Russell. Ash Golding on his shoulder. Golding trying to get the pass away. Does get the pass away. Trout did well.
Didn't he just, Owen Trout, to catch that ball then?
Lawrence. Aiden Caesar. Here is Golding. Golding steps back inside, runs into the arms of Jackson Hastings. Gildart there as well. 4 tackles gone. Here is Lawrence once more. Now the try scorer, Sam Wood.
Look at that. Great pick-up.
Lawrence on the last here. Caesar gets the pass away to McQueen. McQueen offload. The ball goes forward.
Well, they were hoping that Wigan would have switched off, and on the last tackle, most teams expect the kick. Well, not this Huddersfield side. Aiden Caesar attacking the defensive line, bringing Chris McQueen onto the ball. It's still not a bad place to turn the ball over, Bill, if we're honest.
Huddersfield having a real dig here. Trailed early on to that Sam Powell try. Levelled it just before half-time with Sam Wood's try. Both the teams kicking straightforward conversions. And Wigan, knowing that the victory would leave them in possession of the league leaders trophy, but Huddersfield have played a part in the decision of the destiny of the league leaders shield before, back in 2015 of course, when they were playing Leeds, and Wigan were waiting for it as French cuts back around and puts the kick in, but back comes Brandon Moore well to diffuse the danger.
He's earned himself a decent reputation, hasn't he, Brandon Moore? Clocked up some big tackles in his time in a Huddersfield jersey. Been given an opportunity to play in Super League. I think he's done really well.
He's done 35 so far for the Huddersfield Giants. But as we say, it's not just about defending for a hooker. A good hooker is where the action is. He's supporting around that middle channel and picking up the scraps as he did on that occasion.
Golding. Little dart from him. George Burgess out there among the tacklers. Burgess on the bench tonight, back in action, having missed the last 7 with a hip injury. And Caesar again has time to put the kick in, drills it down the middle of the field and sits up for Bevan French.
I think it's a better kick as well. I've mentioned him being a left footer, but he's on the long side of the field. He's all that field to go at, all that area to kick the ball into. A couple of occasions, both Aiden Caesar and Ollie Russell kicking on the skinny side with only 5 metres or so to work in.
Jake Bibby plays the ball. Here is Willie Isa now. Played 48 consecutive games over 2 years, did Willie Isa for the Wigan club, until last month when he missed the game against St Helens.
So you're saying he's a slacker?
Farrell plays the ball, his second row partner. Here is Jackson Hastings. Hastings to Luluai. Luluai. Here is Bevan French. French skips into the tackle, the 5th, that is, 20-metre line. The ball with Luluai. It's Luluai who kicks crossfield towards McGilvery. McGilvery claims it. Excellent. About making that his.
I am clapping that because he came from about 5 metres away.
But you know what? He's not the biggest. He's up against one of probably the tallest wingers in Burgess. And he goes up, hands above his head. That's excellent.
That was always his ball.
Committed to it, shouted for it. And as I say, must have had, well, it's probably more than 5 metres. Winner of the Golden Boot, of course, in his time. Excellent player for both club and country, Jermaine McGilvery. Still plenty to offer.
Sam Wood now, 23-year-olds. And that from McGilvery is surely the sort of thing that galvanises your teammates. When you see that intent from a senior pro, the likes of Owen Trout or Sam Wood.
Well, they're the sort of big players. It's not going to score you a try, but it's going to save you a try. And when you've got your senior players stepping up, coming up with the ball like that, or carrying the ball really well, or coming up with a big defensive effort, your young lads get on the back of that.
Here's Zach Hardacre now for the Wigan Warriors on the halfway line. So Ben Flower. Powell. Hastings now. Hastings looping pass, finds Gildart. Gildart gets away from McGilvray. Takes on Cudjoe, but Cudjoe drags him to the ground.
He's got a really good outline. Skips outside of it. Yeah, looked like he lost it as a penalty though, is there?
Yeah, good spot, Bill. He lost that ball, but the referee's saying there's too much wrestle going on in the play of the ball. And the reason the ball is dislodged is the attention of Joe Wardle. We're going to run this ball and have a go at getting a try.
And it's Farrell with the first run. Golding and Wardle with the tackle. Powell go down the short side. It's Gildart, and Gildart will go over. He did go over, but he lost the ball over the line. Gildart protests.
Well, Jermaine McGilvray, look at that, throws himself at Gildart, prevents that trying. Like I said, Bill, it's plays like that that inspire players around you. And Adrian Lamb, what's that, 3 times now? 4 times? Wow.
I don't know, and 2 points were available for Wigan. They must have felt confident enough to play with the ball. Another offload from the Giants. I still believe that's a tactic that might work for them. But they didn't take the 2 points. They took that chance to score the 4, and it was because the effort of Jeremy McGilvray pulls the ball out and they get possession back.
I swear I could hear a roar of appreciation from up the East Lancs Road.
Yeah.
Here is Caesar now, short pass. Here is Wardle.
No need to panic here, plenty of tackles in the bag.
Now then, Kumatai is back out there after a breather to lend his physical presence to proceedings. Brandon Moore, they go down the short side. Wardle onto that pass. It was on the last, that'll be the turnover.
We'll see closer around. Luke Robinson knows that they've done a decent job to get up the right end early in the field here. They come back against the grain. Joe Wardle just can't quite thread himself through the line. You see Jackson Hastings he wants to get on with the game as quick as possible.
Huddersfield doing what they've done on so many occasions this season. They've really gone toe-to-toe with some of the big guns, but there they've been penalised. They started the season, in fact, with a really impressive away win in Perpignan, 32-12. They beat the Dragons. They won 4 of their opening 5, and when Super League went into lockdown, they were joint 3rd in the table.
Yeah, they started the season really well, didn't they? There's not been many games that have been blown away this year, I think. It's those close losses, I think, that's really hurt them.
Joe Bullock is back on. Good run from him. Nice cut down by Chris McQueen. Sam Powell now. Here is Tommy Luluai. Ben Flower revs up for a charge towards that Giants 20-metre line. Flower. Powell now. Here is Jackson Hastings. Hastings to Farrell. Farrell accelerates onto that pass, but Caesar and Wardle doing the tackling. Here is Jackson Hastings once more. Wigan looking to get their noses in front again. Morgan Smithies now. Just in front of those posts. Powell. Little kick from Jackson Hastings. Too strong.
Again, the kicking game, both sides. When it gets to the last tackle, they're getting some pressure. Aiden Caesar it was on that occasion, who gets out on Jackson Hastings.
And they are outnumbered, Huddersfield Giants. On that play, there are more Wigan players in the frame than they are Huddersfield Giants, but whether they go up and in or up and out, they're all reacting on the same page. Whatever they do it together.
Huddersfield then in possession. And a big night for the new boy. He's just come on the field, I think.
There he is.
Michael.
There he is.
wearing 36.
A big night for the Longhorns. We'll be celebrating the journey that this player is currently on that's only going to get better.
He comes from Ballybriggan, just north of Dublin, does Ronan Michael, 19 years of age. Only his third year in the game. He's already got 4 Irish caps. And he could be part of something special here tonight.
He's a powerful player as well, and apart from the dreaded virus, he was spending some time down under at Canberra.
Caesar, that's a good kick against the grain, and the chase is on, and the ball's just too strong. Brandon Moore was pursuing that, but he's always looking Aidan Caesar.
Just needed a kind of bounce for Brandon Moore, and Aidan Caesar constantly scanning, looking at where defenders are. Have they turned the hips? Are they in the wrong position? Have they switched off? Some energy in this Huddersfield side in the second half.
Gildart plays the ball. Here is Zach Hardacre up to the halfway line. Come the Wigan Warriors. Ronan Michael in there among the tacklers. Joe Bullock. And that's 3 tackles gone.
From Ronan Michael from the marker position. I think he's been involved in 3 out of 5, 3 out of 4 tackles.
Willie Ison out.
Make that another one.
That's the 5th tackle. Right in front of those posts. 20 metres out they are now. And here's Jackson Hastings. And Hastings tests McGilvray again. McGilvray is equal to the challenge.
And he knows what he's got. He's got some cover as well from Leroy Cudjoe, who could spot Burgess, start his run on the outside on the touchline. Here he is catching the ball, but he gets in the path of Joe Burgess. Doesn't have to get out the way, and it gives Jermaine McGilvray some time to catch that ball.
Here's Wardle now.
Wait.
Powell with the tackle. Wigan looking to pin down the Giants, stop their progress away from their own try line. Ronan Michael plays the ball. Big day this for the game of rugby league in Ireland. One of their own. The first since a young man from Wicklow got into the game.
He's a lot better than that player though. He's got about the same one.
Better handling skills.
A native-born Irish player, we should say.
Yeah.
Made his Super League debut.
We played with a player called Wayne Kerr. He didn't quite make it to Super League level, but Wayne had the potential, had the desire as well. Very similar journey, backed his own ability. I think the lads have already mentioned he paid his own way over to gain an academy contract. He was seconded to Canberra. That sadly didn't work out for him, but Ronan Michael has a lot of well-wishers from over the water and the Emerald Isle wishing him well.
Meanwhile, here come Wigan. Here comes Bevan French, and French accelerating. Couldn't get the pass away. He had Hardacre on his shoulder, but McQueen just did enough. That's the 5th tackle. You get the feeling that Bevan French is going to cut loose at some point. Huddersfield have kept him shackled so far. The ball with Hastings, it goes backwards. It's still on the last, says the referee. So Hastings does well to get the pass away to Gildart. Gildart puts a good kick in, but Golding is well placed.
Again, safe at the back is Nias Golding. Just recognising the threat, recognising what Wigan are trying to do. Just feel in the last 5 minutes, the line speed from Wigan just seems to have gone up a notch. I find it really difficult to make any metres here in Huddersfield. And they have done the last few sets.
Approaching the hour mark at Emerald Headingley, where Wigan have come in search of the league leaders trophy. They walk past it on their way out to the pitch. They haven't seen it for a while. It's in St Helens. Well, it was in St Helens' hands. And Saints, with that defeat last Friday, let it slip. It might yet end up back in their trophy cabinet if the Giants can pull off a shock result here. But the more this game goes on, the less of a shock it would be the way the Huddersfield Giants are playing.
Well, Wigan's opponents tonight, Huddersfield, they walked past that same trophy. They won it in 2013. They got no chance of winning it this year, but brings back good memories for some of those players who were involved that year.
Lawrence And Wardle doing the tackling. Eventually manages to extricate himself from that challenge. Here is Bullock doing just that, straight up the middle of the field, 20 metres out. Powell, here is Partington to Luluai onto French and Huddersfield keeping an eye on the Wigan fullback. Hardacre goes to ground. The tackle from Russell and McQueen, the 5th tackle that was. So Luluai kicks crossfield, not towards McGilvray this time, but McGilvray still gets there, bats it over the dead ball line as Gildart was chasing it.
Well, when Thomas Luluai goes across and kicks this ball, he's looking for Gildart and Cudjoe and Aidan Caesar with her. It just doesn't get the distance that Jermaine McGilvray is looking for to catch it on the full, which would mean it would be a tap on the 20, but it's all about building pressure for that man, Adrian Lamb. Another set of 6 they'll have.
First goal line dropout of the game after nearly an hour, and it's a scudder up to the halfway line. Look at the intent.
That's a good return from Joe Bullock, isn't it? He knows his job, and that's to take the team forward.
And he has done that. Can they capitalise on that? Here is Partington now, 20 metres out. Wigan just beginning to ramp it up a bit. The pressure is coming on the Giants' defence. Luluai, it's about 10 metres out. Here is Bullock, and Bullock stopped by Akumatai, just short. Chris Kendall right on the spot, just in case he managed to wriggle his way over. Powell gets the pass away. Hastings fires it out. It reaches Burgess, but Burgess is immediately closed down by Cudjoe and McGilvray. That's the 5th tackle. Can Huddersfield withstand another Wigan challenge? And the pass goes behind Gilbert.
6 more tackles for the Warriors.
Yeah, there was a Huddersfield hand there. And more pressure now, surely Wigan can capitalise here. They've got Huddersfield on the ropes. It's Powell looking for a second. Held up just short. Sam Powell talking to the referee. Hastings is over. Hastings has got that ball down, or has he? It's again another decision for the video ref. What does Chris Kendall reckon? That looked more like a try than Sam Powell's in the first half.
Very determined, isn't he, Jackson Hastings? And he will carry the ball around that ruck area. Goes really hard and aggressive. Gets through the line. And does he get the ball down? Yes, he does. The attempt from Ash Golden, I think, has been exceptional. And he gets the try he's looking for.
That's grounded. I think Chris Kendall, to be fair, was on the other side of it, just coming round the post, wasn't he? As Hastings got that ball down, got the try, and eventually, almost a sigh of relief on the face of Jackson Hastings. Wigan cracked this resilient Huddersfield defence.
Huddersfield working extra hard in defence, and Jermaine McGilvray with that right hand touches the ball. The Warriors get 6 more tackles, and I think there's a smart piece of recognition by Jackson Hastings. We talked about Ronan Michael. I think he's done about 10, 11, maybe 12 tackles since he's come onto the field. He's a little bit tall, too high, so Jackson Hastings knows if he can get lower on a fatigued player, he's got a great chance of out-muscling him and getting that ball down. Ashton Golding was there or thereabouts, but it was Ronan Michael, who will be better for this experience at top level, that was just slightly exposed because of that fatigue factor.
Hardacre on target. And are Wigan now on course for that league leaders trophy? 12-6.
You know what else is intelligent? He knows he's got the post as a friend. Because when you look at Huddersfield defending, Ronan Michael has got to contend with trying to get around the post to get to Jackson Hastings. And Jackson Hastings was looking for that one-on-one with the fullback Ash Golding.
He got a decisive try against St Helens last week, did Jackson Hastings. He's got one against Huddersfield tonight. South State of Origin to New South Wales against Queensland next Wednesday, 9 a.m, Sky Sports Arena, Sky Sports main event. Chris McQueen's Queensland are looking to wrap the series up. New South Wales looking to keep it alive. Here is Joe Bullock. And Wigan's league leader, Bullock's lost that ball. And there was a hand in there from McQueen, I think.
Well, they've got to be disciplined now, Huddersfield. Chris McQueen trying everything you can see. Well, he wants his team to be tight. That second effort, when he's grounded, Joe Bullock, the hand over the top just knocks the ball out when he's on the floor.
Now Wigan going to capitalise, having found a way through this Huddersfield defence, having finally stopped squandering opportunities. It's ironic that their two tries have been close-range efforts. Hastings and Powell have had the opportunities out wide.
Yeah, both of them, Scoots and Luke Robinson, will be disappointed to concede a try like that when there's been no real big play put on, no deception.
Go free.
Here is Luluai, here is Hastings now. Bevan French for Zach Hardacre. Hardacre brought down about 15 metres out. Willie Isa, Hastings, Sam Powell now. Powell is Partington. He plays the ball about 12 metres out. Smithies onto Jackson Hastings. Hastings, nice little kick. And Hardacre with another try for the Wigan Warriors. And I don't think there's much doubt about that one. And Zach Hardacre gets his third try of the season. And that will be very welcome for Adrian Lamb after the struggle his side have had to crack this Giants defence. They've done so twice in the last few minutes.
Well, I said a few minutes ago that they just seem to have upped the tempo in this game. Again, it was a clever kick from Jackson Hastings to Zach Hardacre. But the defensive line from Huddersfield was a bit passive. They were sitting back, they weren't getting up and pressuring Jackson Hastings and his teammates. They were putting on plays. They go over to the left-hand side. They're sitting back Huddersfield. They go over to the right-hand side, and Jackson Hastings puts the play on that he's after, knowing full well that he's got Zach Hardacre on the outside.
Well, he needs to be careful, Zach Hardacre. Kicking that ball, he might find himself with a yellow card. After what I saw in the Huddersfield match last week, Aiden Caesar picking up a yellow card. An innocuous yellow card. But anyway, great piece of play. Huddersfield and Aiden Caesar just collectively gathering their thoughts now. It was a beautiful kick from Jackson Hastings. A wonderful chase from that man. He had the skills to pick the ball up and ground it.
And now he's got a chance to convert his own try. From wide out. Trickiest kick he's faced all night. This time, Zach Hardacre's got his kicking boots on. 3 from 3 for him. Wigan ahead by 18 points to 6 now.
He knows what he wants, Zach Hardacre. You can see him pointing where he wants that kick. Jackson Hastings and Zach Hardacre in synergy, in line. The kick, the chase and the grounding is good for the Warriors.
Well, they'll be feeling a lot more calm about things now in the Wigan camp with an 18 points to 6 lead. 15 minutes of the game or so to go. You know, a really gallant effort from the Giants to frustrate the Wigan Warriors. Wigan have been patient though. At times it hasn't looked like it. They have squandered 1 or 2 opportunities, but this second half they have turned it up to 11 and the Giants have cracked.
Bill, there's no doubt after that mammoth game last week, it was an amazing game, the Wigan Saints derby. There's always going to be a legacy, there's always going to be a little bit of a hangover because of the physicality, the speed, the pace, the intensity of that game. Wigan understandably started a little bit clunky and a little bit slow, but as they got into the game, particularly in the last 10 minutes when chances have been there, they've taken them. And all they have to do at this stage is get those points and those wins, or that win, should I say.
And you look at that line speed, it's going to be difficult for Huddersfield to break them down, get out of trouble. You seen once the kick was made, Willie Isa and Zach Hardacre getting down there, cutting them down on play 1. Since then, they've not been able to get a quick play of the ball at all.
Well, this good defence from Gildart and Hastings to close down Aidan Caesar, and 4 tackles gone, and Huddersfield really struggling to make ground here. Farrell and Co get hold of Cucho. That's the 5th, and they're just 30 metres or so out. The ball back with Caesar, and he kicks, and it's into the hands of Bevan French, and French looking, just exploring the options, but then tackled on the halfway line.
I was just going to say, just got over the halfway line, but even when Caesar was kicking that ball, and he had some decent depth as well, there was 4 players got up really quick.
So Wigan heading for the league leaders trophy, not just that, but a week off as well to prepare for a grand final, semi-final, but they're not home and dry yet. Here is Gildart. He's got ground to make up, of course, because of the injury problem he had pre-season, which kept him out of action. This is only his 7th appearance of the season. Here is Farrell now. Hastings just hands it off like a butler. Here, my lord.
Or a pizza delivery.
Like a butler, Barry.
Oh, well, that's the difference in class. That's the difference in class with me and you, Ben.
I don't mind a pizza. French can't take that ball.
You've a more elegant life than me. I don't know.
I've
never met a butler, but I've met plenty of pizza delivery men.
I think my predecessor might have had a butler.
He still has, I think.
Yeah.
There you go, Bill. That's what it looks like to everybody else.
We're going to turn the ball over, and it's Chris McQueen now for the Huddersfield Giants, who will be on standby after this. They can't put the cue on the rack because they have to be ready to play and step in if there are any obstacles or any problems in terms of COVID testing.
Well, one thing's for sure, they're certainly battle hardened, aren't they? And all the coach wants is for them to be involved in the contest. With 11 minutes to go, have they still got the players that can pull the strings? Well, they have that man with the green boots.
Picture try here, and Wigan would still be a little bit twitchy. That's a high kick, and it's French who comes for it in the end. A bit of hesitancy in the Wigan rear guard.
We haven't seen a Bevan French special, have we? He's had nowhere near the space he likes.
That's tribute to the work that the Giants have done in that respect.
Yeah, some of the kicking games, some of the touches that, and the assignments, I can think back to the first half when he kicked it near the sideline. I think it was Wardle that picked him up and put him over that sideline.
Do you know what else it is as well, lad? It's fear. You don't want to give him space.
Here's Willie Isa. Wigan just inside their own half. 10 minutes of the game to go. They lead by 18 points to 6. Hastings, French, Cujo, and stopping Bevan French's progress. Powell away with the hands and then down the short side, and the kick ricocheted back into the arms. It's still on the last, says the referee. So French a little chip and chase, but there was a gang of Giants players there to deny him. Ooh, and Partington comes in as Caesar went down, and Caesar felt that.
Well, set restart for Huddersfield as McQueen loses the ball backwards. Ollie Russell picks it up and takes the ball forward into a couple of Warriors defenders. And again, just can't get forward. Tony Clubb it was on that occasion, just spotted the Huddersfield player just going up on his own. Jordan Turner.
Here is Chris McQueen now. Lawrence. Huddersfield on the Wigan 30-metre line. Brandon Moore. Turner gets the pass away, but good work from Hastings.
We could hear the calls. We can hear it on our gantry position here. Turner's ball, so they get Jordan Turner and the two players inside and outside him.
Russell kicks. French claims.
It's a wonderful take, isn't it? He gets up there, Bevan French, secure under that. Leaps up in the air.
Two good full-back performances tonight. Ash Golding's gone well for the Giants.
Ash Golding's been outstanding at the back, I think, for Huddersfield.
Here's Willie Isa now. That's the Wigan 30-metre line as they come away in their own half, and Farrell rumbling onto that. It hasn't been the most fluent of Wigan performances tonight. There have been odd glimpses, but they've been sort of clanging and rattling, a bit like our plumbing, sort of just banging occasionally.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be spectacular. I'm sure Adrian Lamb, when he gets his side in after the final whistle, if it is a win to Wigan, will just take a deep sigh of relief and just get ready for what's to come. Some big games. That week of rest, as you've mentioned, is crucial for a side at this time of year.
Well, they've had the big game against Saints. This has been testing it. You can almost sense the anxiety, or you could early on in the Wigan rank, and that's going to be draining, isn't it?
Well, you look at Wigan over the last 5 games. They played Saints twice, they played Leeds, they played Warrington, they played Salford. They've won 3 of those games, so it's the sort of games and the ferocity in the games that you want going into when you're playing in finals.
If you're learning your lessons, and that's the point that Tez is making, if you're learning your lessons before you come to that jeopardy part of the year, that cliff edge, that if you get it wrong, you're done, but also you're still picking up the wins, so that's a great position to be in for any side.
The Giants chancing their arm there, almost fell into Wigan hands. Last 6 minutes coming up of this contest. And of course, there are other sides in that top 6 who will have their sights on the grand final on November the 27th. As the season comes to an early conclusion, French and Joe Wardle just came hurtling out of the line to close down Bevan French.
His worst nightmare, Bevan French. Joe Wardle firing towards him with a player with the pace and speed that Bevan French has got. Often players won't rush up because he's got the ability to beat with footwork and with speed, so they'll just try and grab hold of the faster player, hoping that teammates will come and help. Huddersfield give him a penalty away.
No, because you can't.
2 players involved in that tackle.
You can't just let go of the man. He's got to break the tackle.
Leroy Cudjoe leads, and then when the ball is stolen, the referee is saying...
Stolen.
Sorry, I beg your pardon, it's not Leroy Cudjoe, it's Joe Wardle.
Last 5.
It looks like it was a harsh call, that.
Well, Sampard been a big week for him. He got married on Wednesday to his new bride, Rhea, just before we went into lockdown, so he doesn't have to pay for a honeymoon.
It's a good result, that. As a father of 2 brides, it's a great result. I'm hoping it comes around when it's my turn.
Morgan Smithers plays the ball. Here's Jackson Hastings. Here's Willie Isa skipping back towards the middle of the field. Sam Powell. Tony Clubb driving towards the try line, but just stopped short. Powell looking, weighing up the options. Sam Powell. Morgan Smithers looking for another close range try for the Warriors. He can't get the ball down. And Huddersfield again standing firm.
Well, Sam Wood, the youngster, just gets under Morgan Smithers and carries him over the try line. He's setting up for 1 point, Jackson Hastings.
And succeeding. And that's testament to the effort that the Giants have put in and the way they've made Huddersfield and made Wigan work for this win.
And that's playing in as well and getting ready to play in big games. 2 scores ahead on the scoreboard. You drop that 1 point over the crossbar, then all of a sudden Huddersfield have to score 3 times, which really is mission impossible, and Jackson Hastings knows that.
But it's another gallant effort for the nearly men. of Super League this season, the Huddersfield Giants. 5th straight defeat this will be for the Huddersfield club. It's not as though it's a run of humbling defeats where they've been beaten out of sight, as we've made the point this evening. They've been really competitive.
They're close, competitive, but they've got to start knocking over those wins, and they've got to learn how to win those games, those close games.
It's Caesar, but Caesar slipping as he took that pass, and then Tony Clubb making sure that he didn't get to his feet very quickly.
Present over the top for him.
Here's Russell. Can the Giants finish on a positive note? They deserve it, and Golding is weaving his way towards the line. It's Luluai leading the tacklers. Brandon Moore now. Moore gets the pass away, but Caesar is pounded by Liam Farrell, epitomising Wigan's effort tonight. They haven't been at their fluent best, but they've been determined, and that's what's got them over the line. And that pass from Russell goes to ground, and Wigan will bring it away with Hardacre.
The longer this game has gone on, the more I've felt like Wigan are playing a little bit within themselves. And when I say within themselves, I mean that they've only exerted as much energy as they've needed to. When it's been time to step on the pedal, when it's time to put a little bit more effort in, as you saw with Liam Farrell, they've done that. Think back to maybe a set of 6 or 2 ago where they really ramped up. They put some pressure on the goal kicker, the kicker, I think it was Aidan Caesar, who had no time and space. So they've done exactly what they needed to do to get the win.
Wigan on the brink of being crowned league leaders for the 5th time, and for the first time in 8 years. And Adrian Lamb looking forward to claiming his first item of silverware as Wigan coach, the man who was really supposedly only there for a season, keeping the seat warm.
As an assistant coach, or was he joint coach with Sean Edwards?
Well, he's made his mark, and they're close now to lifting that trophy as Gildart powers through and Caesar makes the tackle. And McGilvery has it back, and right to the last, Huddersfield being competitive.
Well, they know that this is the end of the season now, Huddersfield, and they don't want to concede any more points.
Is it?
Yeah, good point. Who knows what's going to happen?
Exactly. Okay, Chris. Oh, they change their minds again. Hang on, we're having another round. Wardle is heading for the sidelines, but he's escaped the clutches. So Wigan, feet up next weekend. And wait to see what emerges when the playoffs commence. Caesar, here is Golding. Golding's pass is between Cudjoe and McGilvery.
Is that his first mistake of the night? I said before, Bill, he's been exceptional. Couldn't get the ball to Cudjoe. McGilvery goes straight out of the field, and when you look at this Wigan side, and if you're Adrian Lamb, you're thinking, right, my fullback's playing well, my halves are playing well, my hooker's playing well, all those spine players, they're certainly asking an awful lot of questions of defences. Lim for winner and Willie Isaac, I think he's been really strong in this game over on the right hand side.
Applause from Adrian Lamb for his side as the hooter sounds to bring an end to this contest. And Wigan have done enough. They've denied St Helens a 3rd successive league leadership and will claim the trophy themselves. Smiles at the end in the Wigan camp, but for a while there were a few grimaces because Huddersfield have made Wigan work really hard for this season concluding victory. But Wigan in the second half just turned up the volume a bit, increased the pressure, and got home past this really stubborn Huddersfield side. It's 5 successive defeats for the Giants, but again really battling hard and making Wigan work for this decisive victory. Wigan now league leaders for this season. And this is how the playoffs will look in the first week. Warrington will take on Hull FC, 7:30 Sky Sports Arena, Sky Sports Mix. That's next Thursday in week 1 of the playoffs. And then on Friday, 7:30, again Arena and Mix, the Catalan Dragons take on the Leeds Rhinos. So that's next Thursday and Friday here on Sky Sports. Wigan will have their feet up and we'll be watching that, so will Saints. And Wigan, hard work in the first half, but they got there in the end. Jackson Hastings banging over a late drop goal just to seal the victory. He got man of the match, and he's with Jenna.
Jackson Hastings, congratulations. A man of the match performance, but more importantly, Wigan finished the regular season top of the table. What does that mean to you and to your teammates?
Yeah, it's amazing, Jenna. Obviously, every team plays to finish as high as they can. Obviously, the grand finals, the pinnacle, is what we want to achieve. We set out to go well in the Challenge Cup, which we failed at. We got dished up there by Leeds, so our next focus was on trying to win this, which we've achieved tonight. Yeah, as you said, man of the match is always great, but it's a team sport. I'm just glad that this club finished first. We haven't finished first for a long time, and we'll enjoy it tonight. Pat each other on the back, have a week off, and then straight back into it.
It really wasn't easy tonight. 7 handling errors in that first half. What do you put that down to?
Oh, probably a bit of excitement. There was a fair bit of space when we decided to run hard tonight. They're a class act, Huddersfield. You know, they've lost, 4 games by 1 point. Aiden Cease is probably man of steel. They've done such a great job, especially when they've changed coaches. They've all lifted, and we knew it wasn't going to be easy tonight. At 6-4, we're still quietly confident, but they put up one hell of a fight, and they're a great team, and I'm sure they'll be even better next year. Yeah, 6-6 at the break. Did you get a spray from your coach? No, we didn't actually. He was quite calm, Lammy. We bombed a few tries, obviously. Unfortunately for Bibby, he spilt that one over the line. Me and Bevan mucked up a play back on the inside that we would usually nail. We're probably just a bit excited. We really wanted the Shield tonight, although it's not the grand final, Jenna. It's one step closer. You take the quicker route, so to speak, and hopefully we rest up. We've got no injuries, I think, and we just keep training hard and keep working hard to the ultimate goal. Your coach has said that he feels that you're performing better this season than even last year when you did win that Man of Steel award. Do you agree with him, and do you feel that you're at the top of your game? Probably not at the top of my game, no. I've still got lots to learn. I remember me and you had this conversation around this time last year. I'm nowhere near the finished product. I've got so much to work on. I think there's a few halves in this competition that are streaks out of me. There was one playing tonight that I've learned a lot off. We're managed by the same agent, and I talk about Aiden all the time and how his game management and stuff like that, so I'm always trying to learn. I said this last year, Man of Steel's great, but team success is even better, and when I signed for Wigan, I knew the players we had in this team.
Paris qui est rentré, messieurs, dans l'Amérique, comme je l'ai indiqué par erreur précédemment.
C'est ça, il me semble que c'était le numéro 20.
Exactement, Cordon est passé à l'aile du coup et Payao à l'arrière.
Et Cordon, c'était pas facile à défendre pour le Bzanidze qui a réussi à pousser l'arrière toulonnais.
Ce qu'il vous vient de lui dire, c'est pour ça que je vous donne.
L'ancien Grenoblois formé à Nuit-Saint-Georges est poussé en touche à quelques centimètres de l'embut. Ce qui aurait valu aux Toulonnais de retrouver le bonus offensif, évidemment. Un essai et Toulon pourrait marquer 5 points.
À 10 mètres, rouge.
Lancé pour
l'objectif de ces 10 dernières minutes. Attention à se lancer. Ballon perdu, récupéré.
Et ça peut coûter cher, ce lancer de Alcazashvili qui n'a pas été capté par les Brivistes. Sergio Parissé qui va ramasser cette balle. Sergio Parissé avec la Cafia, le ballon qui sort sur les extérieurs.
Il y avait un avantage au départ. Un premier en avant et après une faute dans la mêlée spontanée.
Et le 19 blanc empêche le turnover.
Ici. La mêlée ou la touche.
Qu'est-ce que vous voulez?
La mêlée. Même si les Brivistes ont résisté, souvent a pris le dessus quand même dans cet exercice.
Il y a un avant blanc, après au sol, vous empêchez le ballon de se jouer.
Conquête, mais ce lancer de Alcazashvili a failli coûter cher en Briviste.
Et le retour du boitillon de Brandon Nansen. Vous l'avez vu avec une grosse planche de glace, il y a quelques instants sur le genou. Le voilà de retour en jeu à la place de Victor Lebas.
Et là, la belle défense de l'Obzanizé pour pousser Gervais Cordon en touche.
Allez, ici.
À 8 minutes de la fin de ce match.
Allez, les rouges. Allez. Dans l'axe. L'épaule. Gaucher, l'épaule. Les deux sont bonnes. Flexion.
Un deuxième ligne de métier comme Nansen, ce qui n'était pas le cas pour les brévistes du match face à Clermont. La mêlée importante évidemment pour les brévistes qui sont dans leurs 22 mètres. La poussée, la double poussée des Toulonnais avec le ballon dans les pieds de Sergio Parissé. Le ballon qui est toujours pour Toulon. Et attention,
il n'y a plus de mêlée.
Attention à ces fautes répétées.
Ouais, surtout en zone de marque, là, quelques mètres de l'embut à bréviste. Et Toulon qui persévère, bien sûr, qui recommande la mêlée.
Il faut prendre la distance les deux, vous êtes trop près. Je vais nous pousser dans l'axe, s'il vous plaît, vous restez dans la mêlée, dans l'axe. Allez. C'est bon de ton côté?
Les brévistes, vous voyez, qui ont du pain sur la planche lors des 2 prochaines journées en recevant le Racing avant d'aller à La Rochelle, et puis ils disputeront leur match en retard, je vous le disais, le 2 décembre, un mercredi face à Castres avant d'aller à Agen. Mais ça c'est encore loin, mais c'est vrai que recevoir le Racing et aller à La Rochelle, c'est pas simple pour cette équipe de Brive qui s'est rassurée néanmoins aujourd'hui, à elle de ne pas complètement craquer de ne pas donner le bonus offensif aux Toulonnais. Et là, ils sont clairement sous pression.
D'accord. Mais il faut nous donner, c'est ça. L'impact, vous pouvez rentrer, il faut tenir l'impact, c'est important. C'est important.
On vous rappelle que c'est l'ouverture, bien sûr, de cette 8e journée. Une 8e journée qui va se conclure, comme souvent en beauté, avec ce match du dimanche soir. La Rochelle-Clermont, encadré bien sûr par le Canal Rugby Club, à 20h10 aux côtés d'Isabelle Iturburu. 20h10 dimanche, 21h La Rochelle-Clermont, vous y serez, Marc. Un match, c'est vrai on est impatient de le voir, parce que prometteur, effectivement.
Le leader qui se déplace chez son dauphin avec des Rochelais, des Clermontois retrouvés, des Rochelais impressionnants ces dernières semaines.
Et les Toulonnais qui nous disputaient aujourd'hui leur 6e match, la Chistera de Baptiste Serin.
Encore une pénalité, attention, on est très certainement pas loin d'un carton jaune.
Oui, parce qu'on parlait de moyenne de 13 pénalités par match, on y est à la 13e.
Ouais, on va se décaler. La 2 minutes successives, il y a des fautes claires, évidentes. Là, c'est votre droitier qui fait que le bras qui écroule. La précédente, vous avez tourné sous pression. Il faut que les attitudes soient plus propres. Autrement, la prochaine fois, on enlèvera un joueur.
Ouais. Ce sera carton la prochaine fois.
Avertissement formulé verbalement.
Ici, s'il vous plaît, on va la faire là. Là, ici. On restera là, on va la faire là, on va pas décaler non plus tout le temps. Allez.
6 petits points seulement marqués par Toulon cette seconde période. 2 pénalités de Carbonel. Il y a un essai de Giorgadze pour les Brivistes. Les Brivistes qui avaient marqué qu'un essai à l'extérieur jusqu'à présent, c'était à Bordeaux lors de la 2e journée. Ils ont réussi à marquer un à Mayol, mais attention à ne pas en encaisser, surtout en 4e. Avec encore un gros effort du pack toulonnais, toujours ce ballon dans les pieds de Parissé. Voilà pour pousser les Brivistes à la faute. Ce sera le carton, inévitable. Il est
prévu. C'est collectif à les fautes, monsieur.
Et c'est Wesley Toupoulevou qui...
Non, c'est Daniel
Brennan.
C'est une faute collective, 23. Faut que ça avance dans l'axe, monsieur. Si vous relevez, faut que ça avance dans l'axe. Et pas se relever. Mais là, pour l'instant, il y a déjà 2 pénalités, il y a eu carton jaune.
Le premier centre, le centre...
C'est collectif, les fautes, monsieur.
Et c'est Wesley Toupoulevou qui...
Non, c'est Daniel
Brennan.
C'est une faute collective, 23. Faut que ça avance dans l'axe, monsieur. Si vous relevez, faut que ça avance dans l'axe. Et pas se relever. Mais là, pour l'instant, il y a déjà 2 pénalités, il y a eu carton jaune.
Le premier centre, le centre... Le premier centre, le centre. Et puis Giorgadze, le 3e ligne. Les 3 Géorgiens qui devraient rejoindre les Lélos après cette tonne.
On reste en bas, messieurs. Flexion.
Après le carton jaune, la sanction suivante pourrait être cette pénalité aussi, si jamais les Brévistes venaient encore une fois à se mettre à la faute. Oui, ça évidemment, Patrice Colazo
déjà engagé, les deux.
le sait. C'est de la patience de la part de l'équipe toulonnaise.
S'il vous plaît.
Il faut faire preuve de patience, pousser son adversaire à la faute dans ses derniers retranchements. Il sait que ça peut payer derrière Patrice Colazo, bien sûr. On est expert de la mêlée qu'il est.
Allez. Distance.
Les Toulonnais qui n'ont pas maîtrisé vraiment ce match. Mais...
Non, du tout. Ils ont des actions d'éclat, le talent de certains de leurs joueurs, mais globalement, ils n'ont pas maîtrisé le tempo du match. Ils ont été régulièrement bousculés. Mais là, ils sont dans les clous quand même du bonus offensif.
Ouais, et ils martyrisent le pack briviste avec l'essai.
Non, la passe est en avant. Donc c'est toujours pas fait.
Ils martyrisent la pelouse de Mayol, ils martyrisent le pack briviste.
Ouais, étonnant qu'ils aient quand même. Ouais, ils ont pas réussi à la maîtriser cette mêlée avec la.
Donc passe de Carbonel là qui est en avant.
La rentrée de Bécos-Julie qui a peut-être un petit peu stabilisé l'axe droit bréviste.
C'est important. Allez, on joue. Allez. 11 de blanc.
Et donc toujours pas de bonus offensif pour les Toulonnais.
Voilà, et la possession est.
Il sort, s'il te plaît.
Des brévistes.
11, s'il vous plaît. 11.
Les brévistes qui ont réussi à les brévistes. Et depuis contre Montpellier, c'est plutôt Montpellier qui les brévistes qui ont réussi à les brévistes. Et depuis contre Montpellier, c'est plutôt Montpellier qui a pris le bonus défensif. Et vous le disiez, Castres qui les a empêchés de prendre un bonus offensif, qui s'est retrouvé un peu après la raclée prise à La Rochelle, qui s'est retrouvé ici à Mayol.
C'est quand même.
Ensuite, c'est sa place à Muller qui revient sur le terrain, c'est ça?
C'est Julien Blanc, c'est Blanc qui va revenir sur le terrain.
On est un peu loin.
Oui, non, mais il y a eu un petit problème, c'est pas très bien compris entre les arbitres et Jeremy Davidson, mais Muller reste bien sur son aile. Et Cucuvo aussi, d'ailleurs.
Cucuvo aussi, ouais, c'est ça. Et Blanc, il est bien toujours au bord du terrain.
Exactement,
J'ai peut-être la vue qui baisse, mais pas à ce point-là.
Non, ça va.
Lié.
Je fais faire à son mais sous pression. Là, c'est un supplice.
Il va avoir une dernière possession, les Toulonnais.
C'est un supplice pour le pack.
La mêlée est un peu plus loin, alors que est-ce que.
Et les papas des avants, regardez.
Ouais, Louis Carbonel, il va chercher la touche.
Vous avez vu le discours fédérateur de Sergio Parissé pour prévoir ce qu'on allait faire ensuite.
14.
Pour aller marquer ce bonus pour cet essai est synonyme de bonus offensif. Parce que c'est évidemment ce que veulent aller chercher les Toulonnais. Pour ce match d'ouverture de la 8e journée. Pour enchaîner un 12e match en défaite à domicile, évidemment, pour les Toulonnais qui vont aller marquer avec Jolmes. Jolmes, le voici. L'essai du bonus offensif pour Toulon. À 30 secondes de la sirène. Le 4e essai synonyme de 5 points toulonnais. Et c'est son premier essai sous ses couleurs toulonnaises à Thomas Jolmes, l'ancien Grenoblois et Rochelais. Et c'est même son premier essai en top 14. Son premier essai en top 14, Thomas Jolmes, imaginez, il apporte un point supplémentaire.
55, ouais.
Il a célébré ça avec un demi-sourire, mais il doit être content quand même. Premier essai en top 14. Et Patrice Colazo aussi certainement soulagé de s'être débarrassé en empochant le point de bonus offensif de ces courageux brévistes qui n'ont rien lâché de bout en bout, mais qui repartent, hélas pour eux, sans points.
Oui, 12e victoire consécutive à domicile, ouais. Et pour les Toulonnais, Mayol, de nouveau, forteresse imprenable.
Et les brévistes, 4e défaite consécutive avec 4 fois le bonus offensif réussi par leurs adversaires.
Merci beaucoup. Alors qu'on voit la joie, la satisfaction, la joie limitée. On va débriefer cette rencontre, écouter les premières réactions. On verra également tous les essais qui ont été inscrits en Pro D2. C'est tout de suite, juste après la bande-annonce. Ne bougez pas.
C'était votre
Andros, fournisseur officiel du Top 14.
C'était votre match avec Société Générale, partenaire majeur du Top 14.
C'était votre programme rugby avec Land Rover, voiture officielle du Top 14.
Il y a des gestes qui changent tout. C'était votre match avec GMF, engagé pour le collectif.
C'est juste une impression de se dire je fume alors je suis libre, alors qu'en fait bizarrement quand j'ai arrêté de fumer, c'est là que je me suis sentie plus libre. J'étais relou pour aller fumer ta cigarette, tu restes pas avec tes potes. Quand tu prends le train, je m'arrêtais à une station et je fumais vite le plus possible. C'est vrai que la liberté je l'ai retrouvée en arrêtant. J'ai même fait avec un ticket de caisse une fois, ouais. J'ai pris un ticket de caisse et j'ai mis du tabac dedans.
On peut tous arrêter de fumer. Inscrivez-vous à Moi sans tabac.
Soyez les bienvenus si vous nous rejoignez. Nous sommes ensemble depuis 20h45 avec Jérôme Thion et Jean-Baptiste Esculier. On vient de vivre ensemble la victoire bonifiée du rugby club toulonnais face à Brive. Score final 35-19 avec 4 essais inscrits pour les Toulonnais, 1 par les Brivistes. Et vous avez donné une note à cette rencontre sur l'appli MyCanal, sur le mode expert où vous pouvez revoir tous les angles de caméra, revoir tous les moments forts de chaque rencontre. Et donc la note que vous avez donnée est de 13,55. Voilà pour votre choix. Baptiste Serin, le demi d'ouverture, le demi de mêlée toulonnais est à vos côtés après cette victoire bonifiée, Romain Lafitte.
Oui, bonne note aussi pour Baptiste Serin ce soir qui était de retour avec le RCT. Pas convaincu, Baptiste, il était moins une pour le bonus offensif. C'est le cas de le dire, c'était chaud.
Ouais, c'était chaud. Je pense qu'on va se le chercher à la fin, mais on a eu peur aussi de ne pas gagner. Voilà, c'était très approximatif sur plein de choses. Donc voilà, on va se contenter quand même d'un bon match avec le bonus, mais voilà, je pense que ça reflète pas du tout le match de prendre le bonus. Voilà, les gros vont se chercher à la fin. Voilà, c'est une bonne note pour eux, et pour nous. Mais franchement, sur le match, Brive mérite plus un bonus défensif que nous un bonus offensif.
D'un point de vue personnel, Baptiste, on vous a vu libéré du 15 de France. Comment vous êtes senti aujourd'hui de retour dans ce maillot vide?
Un peu hors de forme, mais non, j'essaie de jouer, de reprendre du plaisir et surtout du rythme. Ça se voit que je suis pas encore au point. Je joue des pénalités rapidement qui sont pas du tout bien jouées. On se retrouve à 5 mètres dans la ligne après. Voilà, il faut que je retrouve un peu tout ça. Voilà, après, ça n'excuse pas tout, mais voilà, il faut que je retrouve le rythme et pour pouvoir influer du positif ici.
Merci Baptiste et bravo pour cette victoire. Et on va enchaîner tout de suite avec Julien Blanc, le demi de mêlée briviste, forcément déçu. Julien, on vient de parler avec Baptiste Serin, il dit vous méritiez plus le bonus défensif que mérite le bonus offensif. Est-ce que vous êtes d'accord avec ça?
On s'est retrouvé en tout cas dans l'engagement, sur l'état d'esprit, sur l'agressivité. On a fait 30 belles premières minutes. On a fait preuve de pragmatisme et on se fait un peu sanctionner et on tourne à 22-9 à la mi-temps, donc c'est peut-être là l'écart et à la fin de match qui fait la différence. On revient bien à 6 points d'écart. On a une dernière pénalité, est-ce que peut-être qu'il faut aller en pénal touche, mais en tout cas on s'est resserré. Voilà, il faut qu'on se fasse petit, il faut qu'on continue, on s'est retrouvé, donc on est content sur l'état d'esprit. Après, ce qui est dommage, c'est pas ramener de points.
Merci Julien.
Merci.
Merci Romain. Alors qu'on a vu la charnière toulonnaise en discussion avec Julien Dupuis, on va parler du contenu de cette rencontre. Mais avant ça, on va peut-être revoir l'essai du bonus que les Toulonnais cherchaient, attendaient, sont allés chercher et qui finalement est arrivé en toute fin de rencontre.
Au bout du bout, une dernière pénalité avec une pénale touche et finalement un ballon porté qui se désagrège un peu et un deuxième ligne qui arrive en force à faire le boulot, Jérôme.
Bonne structure autour de Sergio Paise qui décide d'aller en touche et vraiment de pouvoir assumer le caractère de son équipe sur la 40e minute de cette seconde période pour pouvoir avoir ce bonus offensif. Et Joms qui vient marquer ce 4e essai, synonyme de bonus offensif. Donc ça, c'est de bon augure pour cette équipe toulonnaise qui a eu un petit peu de mal de Baptiste Serin en fin de match.
Désagrège un peu et un deuxième ligne qui arrive en force à faire le boulot, Jérôme.
Bonne structure autour de Sergio Paise qui décide d'aller en touche et vraiment de pouvoir assumer le caractère de son équipe sur la 40e minute de cette seconde période pour pouvoir avoir ce bonus offensif. Et Joms qui vient marquer ce 4e essai, synonyme de bonus offensif. Donc ça, c'est de bon augure pour cette équipe toulonnaise qui a eu un petit peu de mal. Lucide de Baptiste Serin en fin de match. Lucide de Baptiste Serin en fin de match. Comme hommage d'ailleurs au courage des brévistes qui les ont longtemps malmenés. La possession, l'occupation a été très souvent en faveur des visiteurs, et c'est vrai que Toulon a eu malgré tout le mérite, tout en étant bousculé pendant quasiment tout le match, par à coup de marquer, d'aller chercher dans les dernières minutes ce bonus, d'en marquer 3 essais en première mi-temps grâce au talent des Carbonel, Payoa ou autres, Sergio Parissé, et puis le doublé du jeune Dridi. Mais ça a été compliqué quand même pour les hommes de Patrice Colazo, et c'est un petit peu triste pour les brévistes, effectivement, qui méritent leur courage et leur solidarité tout au long de ces 80 minutes.
Merci Marc. On peut effectivement parler du... voilà. Ça, c'est la joie de Patrice Colazo. Je crois que c'est au moment de l'essai de John Metz, donc c'est l'essai du bonus. C'est étonnant, mais il doit être aussi sur le contenu, peut-être frustré de ce qu'a réalisé son équipe ce soir.
Oui, il doit être soulagé surtout parce qu'il savait que ça pouvait être un match piège, sachant que les brévistes arrivaient un petit peu décomplexés. Ils ont pris une véritable correction à domicile. Ils arrivaient avec 9 changements pour pouvoir aborder ce match contre les Toulonnais. Les Toulonnais s'étaient sortis de l'impasse aussi contre les Castrets il y a 15 jours. Ils savaient aussi qu'une équipe comme ça pouvait être difficile à prendre sur 80 minutes. Et on a vu que sur la première mi-temps, le bon contenu de Toulon par la capacité à pouvoir enchaîner, à récupérer les ballons et surtout à marquer 3 essais.